You're listening to 88.3 FM WXUT, Toledo's only alternative. It is currently 11 a.m., and we are broadcasting from the top of Parks Tower in Toledo, Ohio. My name is Jeremiah Jefferson, and welcome to the Vibin with JJ show. Hope everyone's doing a good day today, having some good vibes, feeling positive about today. So this is going to be a different episode today. I know that basketball season started to come up and stuff like that, and there's been a lot of media day and a lot of people looking forward to the NBA, but this will be a special episode today. Today, I want to specifically focus on everything regarding football. This will be probably a one-time only thing, just because there was so much stuff that happened this past weekend, and it's just so much to talk about that I want to get into it and jump right into the action, because this weekend was a great weekend. Well, first, I guess I can say that this homecoming was this past weekend was great. Enjoyed it. Had a good time being in the parade. Had a good time calling the game, and I'll give more details about the UT game later on. And then also I wanted to say, if you do want to call into the studio at any time, our number is 419-530-4455. Again, if you want to ever call into the studio and make a phone call, the number is 419-530-4455. So let's get into it today. So the first game that I want to get into, I feel like everyone was talking about, is the Alabama and Georgia game. Alabama comes into Athens, Georgia, and defeats Georgia in their home stadium. Georgia was on a 33-game win streak and has not lost since 2019 until that game. You want to talk about just bounce-back victories. Everyone, after that Alabama-Florida State game, the first game, where Florida State just dominated Alabama, everyone was putting heat on Alabama, especially their coach, Kalen DeBoer. You want to talk about dealing with criticism? Alabama fans, other fans from college football, fans of football, were saying how this is not the same Alabama, that they should just roll over, that it's over for them, and that they should just give up. And you had Alabama fans calling for Kalen DeBoer's head and saying that he should get fired, then you replace him, and everything like that. There's even a lady that said that if she won at the time the Mega Millions was going on, if she won the Mega Millions, she would spend over $1 million, a couple of $1 million just to fire Alabama's head coach. So you know they had some big pressure on them. So they had a big task. If Alabama were to lost to Georgia, it would have been really bad. Smoke would have been filled in the air when it comes to Alabama and their coach. But thankfully, that didn't happen. And Alabama came up with a 24-21 win. Ty Simpson with 276 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. He was looking really good out there. I mean, really good out there. He was throwing all over Georgia's defense. They were able to move the ball really efficiently. In the first half, he went crazy. I think he had up to 160 passing yards in the first half. He was moving the ball. He was doing everything, and you just love to see that. It was most definitely a bounce-back game for him, and this is most definitely what Alabama needed in order to stay into the race, and that's why they jumped all the way to number 10 in the rankings, which is very high, but this is an impressive victory, and they're right back in their driver's seat. And they did all different types of even throwing it to their big dude lineman, Caden Proctor. I'm about to say they threw a ball to him, or he rushed. Well, it was behind his line of scrimmage, but Tyson threw it to Caden Proctor, which is a lineman. He was eligible. And this man is absolutely huge. He is 6'7", 359 pounds. Now, that's just a big man. He's bigger, stronger, and probably faster than me. And if I try to tackle him, I'll be cooked. So they're doing whatever they can against Georgia, especially throughout the first half. Georgia couldn't really get anything going. It was all Alabama. And then Georgia, during the second half, started to keep it with it. And then Georgia was not able to capitalize. They tried going on a fourth down at one point, I think either fourth quarter, and it didn't work. And people were saying that they should kick the field goal. I'm not saying Georgia looked really bad or terrible, but they just couldn't capitalize and struggled against Alabama. And this is a really big win for Alabama. And they can use this to carry momentum. And as for Georgia, it's a tough loss. You hate to see levels like this. They've dropped from number 5 in the rankings to number 12. You hate losses like that, but if they can continue, you know what I'm saying, just getting into the rankings and winning their games, then they can be right back in it. But impressive win by Alabama. This is something that they needed, and I don't want to hear any Alabama fan or anyone come for Caleb DeBoer, because if you're beating Georgia for the first time in their home stadium for the first time in 2019, then you're doing something right. So everyone did their role in Alabama. Georgia, they can play better. I mean, Alabama's a good team, and now you can see why they're a playoff team. Both of these are playoff teams, and we'll see how both of these teams go. So that was a really good game, and there was a lot of good games. So that was a final score. Alabama goes in and beats Georgia 24-21 in what was a really close and good game. The next game that I want to talk about is the Oregon and Penn State game. Oregon came up with a win between them and Penn State, 30-24. Let's start off with saying Dante Moore, their starting quarterback, he's probably one of the best quarterbacks in the nation right now. 3 touchdowns with only 10 incompletions with 248. He's one of the best quarterbacks right now, and he should be one of the front runners for Heisman. Oregon's just been on a roll, and they've been playing some really great football on the offense and on defensive solidly. I guess the game plan for this game, I want to say, is throughout the whole first half and kind of part of the second half, Oregon had control of this game a lot. At most in the third quarter, it got 17, or at the fourth quarter, kind of close to the beginning of fourth quarter, it was 17-3. And you thought, oh, Penn State, they can't come back. They always lose against top 10 teams. I don't think Penn State has beat a top 10 team since 2016. So it can't be a top 10 team and everything. But then Penn State started to come back. And then come back, they did, to make it tie 17-17 and make it go to overtime, or make that double overtime, in which, when it comes to the Alabama, Georgia, and Penn State, Oregon game, I had to have both of these games like on different TVs, like split screen, because I couldn't turn off one game. I took a picture and I said, now this is peak college football right here. I mean, we got 2 close games like that. That's just amazing to see, and I was just happy to be a part of it and see those 2 games. But Oregon comes with a victory. Like I said, Dante Moore, he should be up there for the Heisman. To beat Penn State like that and to control the game for the most part until the end of the fourth quarter, but control a game like that and make good plays, sacrificing his body, ran for it, and literally do what he can to make sure this team won. It was really impressive. And as for Penn State, another loss against a top 10 team. Their coach, Penn State's coach, James Franklin, with that loss on Saturday, is now 4-21 against top 10 teams. 4 wins, 21 losses. Again, Drew Aller, I never really been impressed with him. I mean, they say he's supposed to get better like in the future, but I have not been impressed with Drew Aller when I see him. Like in this game, he only had 137 passing yards and 2 touchdowns with 1 interception. He has never impressed me like that when it comes to being like a quarterback that I can trust. He just hasn't impressed me, and just, I don't know. They have good running backs, I must say, with Singleton and Allen, but I don't trust him as a quarterback. I never believed him. People were saying last year was supposed to be a top pick, but I just never saw it. He just doesn't impress me as much. And if they're going to want to win these next games against top teams, like against Ohio State, and I think I think they play Illinois or Indiana, one of those teams, they're going to have to look into within themselves and change the game plan. And if they don't change the game plan, Penn State, it'll be over for them. Because, yeah, they can't beat top 10 teams. And I know they made a playoff last year, but them struggling like this every single year, they got to look in within and see what they can do. And James Franklin, I don't know how long he'll be able to keep this up. I mean, he's good every year. Always have top recruits every year. His defense is always good every year. But when it comes to getting it done in the biggest moments, it seems like he always fails. And that's why he has only 4 wins and 21 losses. It was crazy to see. So Penn State is going to have to get it figured out. Oregon, good win for them, and they moved up to number 2, and they'll be rolling. Penn State's just looking to bounce back. Next game, Ohio State went into Washington and beat Washington 24-6. Ohio State, like I said, I'm an Ohio State fan, so I'm trying to be as non-biased as possible. Ohio State, they've been rolling so far. Washington, I know they were struggling kind of. Like in the first half, it was 7-3 and kind of 14-6 well out the game, but it seemed like Ohio State had control of most of the game throughout, and there wasn't really any worry, to be honest. It feels, and we haven't even seen Ohio State at their best when it comes to their offense. Julian Sayin, I mean, he's still playing super efficiently. He threw for 208 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he completed over 78% of his passes. For a freshman quarterback, or a redshirt sophomore, for this being his true start, he's been really impressive, managing the game really good and making efficient throws. He's been really good. Bo Jackson, not the baseball Raiders one, Bo Jackson from Ohio State. He's came in and basically become the starter ever since the second game of the season. And then Jeremiah Smith, I think he's the best player in college football, came in with a touchdown and everything. And let me just talk about their defense. Ohio State's defense is super elite. I mean, they're allowing only 8 points per game on defense. 8 points per game, or I think it's either 8 or 5, one of those, but they're allowing either 8 or 5 points per game on defense. And as I said earlier, within my episodes, I said that I was worried about the defense because Ohio State, we lost 8 or 9 guys on defense. And so I had no idea how the defense was going to do. And with Matt Patricia, I don't know if it's even a hot take, they might be even better than where they were before. Caden Curry, 3 sacks. He's really good. Ivor Reese, Sonny Styles, Igbenuson, Caleb Downs. I mean, defensively, offensively, this is really why they're number 1 team in the nation and why they beat Washington. And Washington has a good offense. But quarterback Desmond Williams Jr., they have a good offense. It's just Ohio State is playing on another level when it comes to their defense. Their defense, they got the best defense in the league. I'm sorry. They got the best defense in the league. It's crazy how good their defense is. So offensively, defensively, Ohio State is just real balanced, and they can do no wrong. So that's the reason why they're ranked number 1 in the nation. The next game I want to get into is the Ole Miss and LSU game. Like I said before, I had Ole Miss being LSU in my predictions, and I was right. LSU cannot get anything going offensively, and Garrett Nussmeier has not looked good. People were hyping him up before the season. I think he'll maybe break out if they're solid. Okay, I'm going to say year last year. They thought he was going to do good this year and be even better, but it looks like that hasn't came into tuition with just 197 yards, just a touchdown interception. I mean, offensively, LSU can't do nothing. The defense is the only thing that's saving them right now in games. Their defense was really good from everything. LSU's defense is saving them in games. Their offense is doing good. And when it comes to Ole Miss, Trinidad, not Trinidad James. He's not wearing gold all over his chains. I'm talking about Trinidad Chambliss. 314, touchdown, 1 interception. But he was able to get all over the field, pass all over it, do whatever he wants out there. Was able to read LSU's defense. LSU, really good defense. It moved Ole Miss to a win. So Ole Miss, it's looking really good for them right now. And when it comes to their schedule, I'm about to say, I mean, they got some teams to face. Like, they got to face Georgia and Oklahoma back to back. But John Mateer isn't playing, and Georgia is kind of struggling like they did on Saturday. Then Ole Miss has a good chance to make it to the SEC championship, even the college football playoff berth. I don't know. Ole Miss, like I said, I picked Ole Miss to win just because LSU offense has been good and their defense is the only thing that's been saving them in games. So LSU is a unfortunate loss. And when it comes to this game, big win for Ole Miss, and LSU just need to bounce back and fix what they can offensively in order to become better. Next game, I got 3 more games I want to talk about. Virginia versus Florida State. This was surprising. I did not see this coming at all. Virginia beats out Florida State 46-38 in double overtime. Well, I did not expect this. Like, Tommy Castellanos, he did all he can. He was the leading rusher with 78 yards, and I know he had 2 interceptions, but that was near like overtime, and the other one got bobbled up in the air, so you can't really fault him. So he carried the team, and he did all he can by throwing it to Deuce Robinson and leading him to a touchdown. And they did what they can. It shows the Florida State defense. They could not stop Virginia and their offense. I mean, Chandler Morris went out there and went crazy. I mean, he had 3 interceptions, so he just kept chugging the ball. He kept on getting intercepted, but still, Virginia upsets Florida State. I apologize to Cam if you're listening to this, but I know you're a big Florida State fan, so I hate to see stuff like that. And when the game was over, their fans ran to the field, and the Florida State wide receiver who got trounced by Virginia's fans, that was crazy. Virginia fans, they basically came in, and they were running like little ants. My dad said they were running like little ants onto the field. And it was one of the fastest, like I said, I had to agree, one of the fastest run onto the field moments I've ever seen. And just Virginia, they got ranked number 24 after all this game. And Florida State, I think, got moved all the way to 18 or 19. So there's been some big drops. A lot of these drops I wouldn't really drop. I mean, the Florida State one makes sense. The Alabama and Georgia one, those are kind of like really high drops. Been a lot of big drops and a lot of big gains. And so Virginia upsets Florida State in what was a really close game and a really fun game to see. The next one, who it might be up there with one of the best games of the week. It's up there with the Oregon, Penn State, Alabama, and Georgia game. USC and Illinois. Illinois came up on top against USC 34-32. Both quarterbacks for both teams played really well. I mean, I'm about to say both of them had over 300 passing yards and at least 2 touchdowns. And for this game, Illinois had control of most of the game, and they were controlling the game, making stopping USC at certain points, was able to move the football and throw the football and control most of this game. But Illinois at the end, or USC at the end, starting to make a big comeback. And there were some fumbles that happened, turnovers that happened that let USC come back in the game and come back and win. They were about to win the game, but Illinois made enough plays and won by a game-winning field goal. So Illinois, you want to talk about a bounce-back win. This was a bounce-back win for sure after getting destroyed 63-10 by Indiana, which was embarrassing. And a lot of people were like, Illinois, they aren't that good. I mean, they aren't worth being ranked that high. They came out and came back against a good USC team who has a good quarterback, and came out and beat USC. So it was a good win for Illinois, something they can bounce back on. It was a good bounce-back game. And for USC, you hate to see losses like that, but, I mean, it was a really close game all the way. And you can't say that USC played bad or anything. It's just certain stuff happened in the game. Certain mistakes happened in the game that cost them to the end. So USC is a tough loss for them. And Illinois as well, bounce-back game. That was a really good bounce-back game for them. And then the last game I want to call, I was at this game. I actually called this game. The Toledo Rockets absolutely slaughtered Akron 45-3. They really did whatever they want offensively and defensively from where I called it on the 88.3 WXUT radio station, which I'm calling from. They were able to do everything offensively, defensively. They were stopping Akron. I mean, it is Akron. They're not really good like that. But nonetheless, Toledo came in there, especially on homecoming weekend. Everyone, the fans, the players, kids, parents, all the people are like having fun on homecoming. It's a good time to have some good vibes and feel positive energy. And so they were able to use that energy and come out with a dominating win. There is nothing that Toledo couldn't do. Tucker Gleason, 3 touchdowns. He was named MAC Offensive Player of the Week after a disappointing game against Western Michigan. Reese had I think 80-something yards and 2 interceptions. Tucker Gleason came out with 237, 3 touchdowns. Chip Trainum came out and balled out. Junior Vander Ross came out and balled out. And on the defense, Avery Smith was one of the people that stood on defense. And he balled out. It was an overall team effort. And then prayers up still to John Allen Richter. I haven't seen anything up when it comes to his situation. But when he played, it was basically the third quarter, and he was running with the football and basically hit his head super far, hit super hard on the field, and he did not move at all. He was just not moving at all. They had to bring the ambulance out, put him on the stretcher, and take him into the ambulance. He had to have neck brace on. Even when they took him to the end, on the stretcher and to the ambulance, he just did not move at all. And I had too much PTSD from Damar Hamlin, that situation, so I started to get something like that. It's really scary. So prayers up to John Allen Richter, and prayers that he becomes better and that he is better from this. Prayers up to him, and hopefully get some more updates. I haven't heard anything, but hopefully get some more updates. But with that, and I want to give a special shout out. I don't know if anyone's really shouted him. Caleb Osborne. I know that he's probably the backup and to the backup. But he came in 42 passing yards and rushed for a touchdown. He's a true freshman, and I feel like this kind of might be a hot take. Maybe he might be the starter in the future. I mean, John Allen Richter, he's a junior, so he's probably going to start next year. But maybe Caleb Osborne, this is true freshman year, maybe he could be the starter and become the next DeQuan Finn or become even better. So I'm looking forward to see how that quarterback competition goes in the future. And I'll be looking forward to see how Caleb Osborne does. But overall, great effort by Toledo. They locked it and locked on Akron 45-3. And with that said, I want to get into these predictions. There's some solid games this weekend. First up, Penn State faces UCLA. UCLA, it's been absolutely disappointing. I mean, absolutely disappointing after basically doing the first ever trade in college football history with Nico Iamaleava. They just 0-4. They lost the trade, and Tennessee's quarterback, who basically got traded from UCLA, is now balling on Tennessee. And UCLA has been really struggling. 0-4. They can't get anything going. And then their quarterback has 4 times 3 interceptions. So it's not looking good. I got Penn State win that. I think Penn State is going to bounce back. And when they can go down to UCLA, they're going to lock in and beat UCLA. And this will be a get-right game for them. The next game, us versus Minnesota, got the OHIO all the way for us. I'm hoping that they can continue their momentum and get dialed in and locked in and continue the rest of the way. And Minnesota's kind of underrated. 3-1. They shouldn't be looked at, I'm about to say, as easy. So, Ohio State, I got us, Ohio State winning for sure. Texas, Florida. Florida's really trying to bounce back. I mean, it's been a terrible season so far for them. They were supposed to be hyped up as one of the the best teams in the nation. But they've just been real disappointing, especially from their quarterback, DJ Lagway, with 5 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He's really struggled to get anything going, especially throwing 5 interceptions in the games against LSU. You can't win if you're throwing 5 interceptions. He cooked them. And Florida, I mean, what can you say about Florida? They've just been struggling. And then I got Texas winning, even though Texas hasn't really, I mean, they've been up and down kind of. I mean, when they play good, they play good. And when they struggle, they struggle. Archie Manning is still trying to figure it out. But we'll see where they go from here. But I got Texas winning. If Florida were to beat Texas, that would be really surprising. And Archie Manning would have to play really bad. Next prediction, Vanderbilt and Alabama. This should be a really good game. I'm looking forward to see what happens in this game. Vanderbilt has been on a roll. They're ranked number 16. Alabama's number 10. Vanderbilt is undefeated, and it's led all by their quarterback, Diego Pavia. He already has 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He's balling, and Alabama, they are rolling off their win off Georgia. So this should be a really good, close game. And it's not going to be easy. I think I got Alabama win this game, yeah. I think Alabama win this game. Even though Vanderbilt is no slouch and Vanderbilt beat Alabama last year, I think they're going to improve their offense and show why they're still consistent. They're going to be showing why they're still one of the best teams. So give me Alabama in that aspect. I got over 3 more games. Texas Tech versus Houston. Houston has been really impressive this season and been on a roll so far and has some good momentum with them. And then Texas Tech, they've bounced back and become really good this season, and their defense has stepped in really well, and Texas Tech just is flowing offensively overall. For this game, I'm going with the upset. I got Houston being Texas Tech. I know more people probably going with Texas Tech because of how improved they went from like 122nd at defense to 14th, which is like 108 steps forward. But give me Houston versus to beat Texas Tech. I'm going with that upset, just to have an upset. Miami versus Florida State. This should be a really good game. This may be game of the week, in my opinion. Miami is off on a bye. Carson Beck, they look really good this season. Carson Beck has used the experience to lead them to wins, and they're the reason why they're ranked number 3. And Florida State, they're looking to bounce back from their loss against Virginia. These are 2 playoff teams, but if Florida State loses to Miami, this will really hurt them in their playoff pushes because they're already number 18. If they lose to Miami, it will not be good for the playoff sake. So if they want to be in the playoff contention, they need Tommy Castellanos to step up and to defeat Carson Beck. And their defense has to play way better against Miami. If I had to choose, I'm going with Florida State to also pick the upset. I just trust Florida State. After that first game against Alabama, with how much of that walk-it, like a target moment they had, I like Florida State a lot and how they move the ball and everything. So give me Florida State to beat Miami. And then the last game, Texas A&M versus Mississippi State. Should be a close game as well. But in my opinion, I got Texas A&M beating Mississippi State just because Marcel Reed, I almost say, has been balling. And they have good wide receivers with Mario Craver and some other good receivers on their team. Mississippi State, they were hanging in there with Tennessee, got it down to overtime, but couldn't capitalize on the end. But give me Texas A&M. I think this will be a close game, but give me Texas A&M for this. With that, in the meantime, all the college football predictions, we're going to take a short 5-minute break, and we will be right back with you with more NFL talk and predictions. So we will be right back. We are back on the Vibin with JJ show, and now we're going to spend this time talking about everything regarding everything that happened in the NFL. There is major news and major games that happened within the NFL that I want to talk about as well. There's just everything college football that happened that was crazy. So first off, Malik Neighbors, he tore his ACL and is out for the whole season. So that sucks for the Giants and Jackson Dart for his rookie season, which I'll talk about their game later on. But yeah, another victim gets caused by MetLife Stadium. First it was Odell They remember being Sterling Shepard, now Malik Neighbors tore his ACL. Their field has not been good. Also, Aaron Rodgers has also tore his Achilles. So many players that got injured on that field. And Odell Beckham Jr. made a post saying that they need to fix that and just play on regular grass, which I agree because that helps benefits the players a lot. So if they can do that, then it'll be help the players. But it just sucks to see someone like Malik Neighbors get injured like that because he's such a good player and such a star wide receiver and get 1,000 yards each season. So hate to see that, but hoping we can see him bounce back and still be as good as possible. The next major injury happened on Monday Night Football between the Dolphins and Jets. It was around like the second quarter, and Tyreek Hill absolutely wrecked his leg/knee. He absolutely injured his whole area. It looked very bad. Don't look at the video. It looked super bad. But he basically dislocated his knee, had multiple ligaments torn, and tore his ACL. So he might not ever be the same player again because he's one of the fastest players in NFL history. He might even just retire. So it's just that's just really bad for him if he wants to continue to play football. But he was smiling for some reason when he walked off the field. I mean, I guess that just shows how toxic the situation is, that he was injured and he smiled walking off the field or getting off the field. And when he was in the ambulance, they say he was smiling as well. So that's crazy. But Tyreek Hill, if he does come back, I don't think he's going to be ever that fast ever again. But I guess if anyone were to come back, it's him. So, but at 31 years old, doesn't look so good. So basically for both of those, you just want to see both of them healthy because they are both really good electric players. And if both of them are healthy, the NFL's a better league. We'll talk about the games that happened. First game I want to talk about is the Packers and Cowboys game. And like I said, before I get into that, like I said, if you want to call in the studio one more time, number is 419-530-4455. Again, it's 419-530-4455. So, like I said, first game I want to talk about was the Packers and Cowboys game. I watched the whole game. It was me and my dad. We watched over his friend's house. We watched that whole game from the beginning to end, and I'm not even a Cowboys or Packers fan, but that game was so good. And so much stuff happened. It made me lose my voice. That was such a crazy game just for it to all go into the tie. Why are we still doing ties in NFL? I hate ties with passion, bro. There should be no tie. Why are we tying? You don't play football to win for tie. Even Dak Prescott, Kevin Durant, and Dick Vitale said there should be no ties. Like, get rid of ties. Doing it with overtime rules like they have it in college. But I'm about to say, you could just make it where you score a touchdown, it kicks an extra point either each overtime. Change the overtime rules and make it double overtime. Because I'm tired of seeing ties in football. No one likes ties at all. It was just so anticlimactic in the game just to see such a great game. That game didn't come off till like 11:50 something, 12 o'clock in the morning. So we all stayed up just to see a tie, which everyone hates. The Dallas Cowboys stuck it in there. I don't think anyone was expecting it to be this close and make it a game of the year contender. Dak Prescott was doing all that he can to lead them. He was really good out there. When he had George Pickens looking really good with a 134 yards and 2 touchdowns, Dak Prescott was making George Pickens look like Calvin Johnson with some of the catches he had. Javonte Williams running the football good. The line was kind of blocking. And they look good. The Cowboys got a really good offense with CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, and all their players. Just their defense is not good. They can't build any pressure. If they have Michael Parsons on this team would be, to be honest, they'd probably be like 3-1, 4-0 maybe. But they traded Michael Parsons because Jerry Jones wanted to stop the run. Some people are now saying that he won the trade, which still makes no sense. But they play really good offensively. And then for the Packers, they had control of the beginning of the game. It was 13-0. And it looked like they were about to run away with it. I feel like everyone's thinking of that. But then after that block extra point, all of a sudden the Cowboys started to get back into it. Jordan Love with 3 touchdowns, 337. Josh Jacobs was the leading receiver and leading rusher. So he was doing good. Romeo Dobbs was cutting the slants, getting some good slants, and scored 3 touchdowns. And their defense with Micah Parsons only had 1 sack, but it was a game-winning sack to stop Dak Prescott from scoring. And their defense was struggling out there to stop the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. It was an overall just good game from both ends. Happy to see that both teams did really good. You like to see that, close games like that, and big names like the Packers and Cowboys. You especially love to see that. Devontae Turpin, he made a crazy catch. That's probably the catch of the year so far. Toe tapping by the skin of his teeth. You can put one finger in there. That's how close it was for him 7 outbounds. That was a crazy game. But I just hate that ending the tie. Like, no one likes tie. Get real ties. So the score was 40-40, and if one of them came up with a win, I'll name that game of the year. But since they tied, I'll say it's one of the games of the year. The next game that we can go to, the Ravens and the Chiefs game. The Chiefs dominated and really had control this whole entire game. Patrick Mahomes looked really good out there. And with Xavier Worthy being back, it helped them a lot. Patrick Mahomes, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 270. And Xavier Worthy, even though it's bad that he was literally leading rusher with just 38 yards, he was also leading right receiver 83 yards. So just him being back just helped them overall. And with him being back and Rashee Rice being good, Chiefs might be back and dominant again. And that's a scary sight. So on offense and defense, Chiefs held their own and locked down the Ravens for 37-20. As for the Ravens, it has not looked good for them. It is not looking good. They got so many injuries right now. Marlon Humphrey is down. Calvin Noe is down. Matabike, yeah, that's his name's down. Nate Wiggins is injured. I think he said Kyle Hamilton is injured. Ronnie Stanley is injured. And Lamar Jackson tore his hamstring. A lot of people were thinking that he called up the game because this game was over, but he seriously might have to sit out for the next 2 to 3 weeks. If you're the Ravens, that's not good. If you got Cooper Rush as your backup, I don't know if that'll work. And then Derrick Henry only had 8 rushes for 42 yards. If they miss the playoffs, they might have to clean ship with their coaching staff and everything. Even they might have to release John Harbaugh and find someone else. And even though John Harbaugh is a good coach, I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but they just need something different. Because Lamar Jackson is too talented to just be out there running for his life and trying to throw the ball into nothing. So Ravens is not looking good for them. As for the Chiefs, if they look like this for the rest of the season with Rashee Rice coming back, Chiefs might be dangerous and they might be back. I want to talk about our game. That black and yellow. Steelers and Vikings game, 24-21. A lot of people were picking the Vikings to win this game, but I was just saying, if you give Aaron Rodgers time and block for him, he'll make you pay and score. And he did that with 200 yards, a touchdown. And DK Metcalf had his best game with 5 catches, a 126-yard touchdown. He had an 80-yard touchdown that went all the way. He's just unstoppable. He's just big and then just unstoppable. And if you just throw it up to him, he'll catch it like a basketball, like a box-out basketball. Like, there's nothing you can do. And then Kenneth Gainwell had 19 rushes for 99 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was playing out of his mind, and that was probably the best game he's ever played. If we can have continued pressure like that and continue to run the ball, that's Pittsburgh Steelers football. Because Mike Tomlin is always saying, run the ball, stop the run. Well, we ran the ball, and technically when it comes to stopping the run, we did that. So if they can continue to be like this, they give Aaron Rodgers more time, and he's able to consistently find wide receivers. It's going to be a solid team. With how the AFC North is looking, it's not going to be looking. We might have the chance, so we'll see. And then as for the Vikings, they're struggling. Carson Wentz was getting really pressured and absolutely destroyed out there in the first half by our defense. Our defense played really good. TJ Watt came up with an interception. It was working the field all over. And he came up with a sack with tackle for loss. He back hits with 3. He was doing whatever. And the defense was just looking really good. Defensive line, getting to play like this, looking real dangerous. But Carson Wentz was getting destroyed out there. The Steelers games are always close. We always keep it close for some reason. we can't just blow out teams. We always got to keep it close and make it a heart attack. You got to get the blood pressure for how we play. Carson Wentz, I mean, he was struggling at first, but then we got down to a point. There was a point where the Vikings started to come back, and there's 2 play calls that I absolutely hated that Mike Tomlin called. It was 4th and 1 or 4th and goal on like the 3-yard line, and Aaron Rodgers told Mike Tomlin to back off, want to go for it, but Mike Tomlin was like, we want to go to field goal, but Mike Tomlin decided, all right, we're going to go for it. And when they go for it, you just run the football. I know they've been playing good, but you just run the football on 4th and goal and not throw it? I mean, that's questionable. I didn't really like that play call because why would you run the ball right there and not give it to Aaron Rodgers' hands and have him do something? And then let the Vikings scoring a 2-point conversion. And then instead of going for it 4th and 1 and killing the game, we decide to punt it when we get the ball again. When that happened that back-to-back, I'm like, we're about to lose. It's over. We're about to lose. And then there was like 3 or 4 penalties happened like back-to-back-to-back. I'm like, no, this isn't about to happen. And we were about to lose. But thankfully, the Steelers came back, stopped them, and won the game. And now 3-1 with a bye, which is a much-needed bye. All the injuries they have. This is a much-needed bye for them. So Steelers came out 24-21 with a good win. Next game, Colts-Rams. That was a really close game. The Colts stuck it with the Rams throughout the close entire game. And that just shows that the Colts, they're legit a team. They are a legit team. And this is a really good team that you should keep watch on. And Daniel Jones, I know that he said that he had a touchdown, 2 interceptions. But he should have 2 touchdowns. It's just AD Mitchell fumbled the football while trying to celebrate. He held the football out of his hand, about to score, and just lost it. That's one of the come on, man, plays of the year. I mean, come on, man. You can't be doing that. And then there would have been another touchdown for Jonathan Taylor, but then AD Mitchell decided to have a holding penalty. So he sold on 2 drives, and they would have won the game. We were like 34-27. They had those points, but it was really close. Like I said, Daniel Jones looked pretty good out there for what he had, all the options that he had. I know I say he had 2 interceptions. 1 interception is and the second interception was like, he was trying to make a pass and throw it to someone, but it got caught. But the Rams got good defense. As for the Colts, you should be proud of this, the fact that you kept it close. This shows that you're legit because the Rams are a Super Bowl contender. And you should be proud of yourself and show that you're able to compete with one of the best teams. And like I said, I feel like Daniel Jones, he's still going to have that breakout season like how Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, and Geno Smith in his first few years in Seattle did. So Daniel Jones still looking good, and I think the Colts still have their quarterback, and I think they're going to be a playoff team for sure. I already knew that they're going to be a playoff team before the season because their offense is too good and they have good pieces on defense. I still think the Colts are going to be a playoff team and they're going to win their division. So it's a loss for them. As for the Rams came out there and handled their business. Matthew Stafford is really good. Puka Nacua, I mean, might be Offensive Player of the Year. That duel with Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and Kyren Williams offensively was unstoppable, and you can't really do anything about it. You cannot do anything about it. Puka Nacua is just too dominant. Rams are on a roll. They might be up there with the best team. They might be the second best team. They might have overtook the Packers right now because how they look. Packers look to the past 2 games. Rams look good. Colts, you should be happy about keeping it close and shows that they're a playoff team. The next game was another significant game. The Eagles come up with the win against the Buccaneers, 31-25. Jalen Hurts. There's been, I guess you could say, there's been drama with the Eagles because A.J. Brown's out here making Bible verses saying that how disgruntled he is without getting the ball. He had 2 receptions for 7 yards. At first, Jalen Hurts had he only had 130 passing yards, but in the second half, he had no passing yards. All those basically yards came in the first half. And Saquon Barkley can't get it going rushing the ball. So I don't know what's going on with them. But if they can't get this fixed, it's not going to be good for the Eagles. I mean, they're good enough offense defensively to hold their own, but it's not going to be good if they cannot do anything on the offensive end. Defensively, they have the talent, and offensively, they have the talent. They just need to put it all together. Because Jalen Hurts can't just have no yards passing the ball and expect them to win. That's not possible. It's not sustainable for the whole season. So the Eagles got to get their act together and figure out ways to improve this team. So Eagles got to play better on offense, but they're 4-0. So all the problems can get solved with the win. But if they lose and explode, there's going to be some really bad drama and call-outs for sure. Buccaneers played good. They were in it for most of the game. Baker Mayfield did his thing. Bucky Irving and Emeka Ibuka was out there trying to do their thing. They tried, but injuries, I'm going to say Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs just coming back now is just, I'm going to say, help. They're not really there yet, and they need more time. But Buccaneers came out and lost to the Eagles. Buccaneers are going to be fine. I think they're going to win the division and make it far. And they're going to continue to do well. And as for the Eagles, they're 4-0. But if they're going to keep calling the problem like this, it's going to affect them through the whole season. They might be the most toxic retaining Super Bowl 4-0 champions I've ever seen. Next, I got two more games I want to talk about. The Giants and Chargers. This was Jackson Stark's first time debuting for the Giants, and he came up with a win. I mean, the stats might not say all too much, 111 yards, touchdown, and rushing yards, but when he got into the game, it's like the energy on offense and defense within the fan base became alive, and there's been injuries to Joe Alt and Rashawn Stanley and Becton for the offensive line. So I apologize, Cam, again, if you're listening. Chargers, Florida State both losing. But I guess you could say is a Marion Hampton with 120 yards and a touchdown. That's something to look for. And I don't know what's going on with Lad McConkey. He hasn't been looking good. But Quentin Johnston, again, leading receiver, and he's been really good and really improved from this year. And as for the Giants, it's a good start for them. It sucks that Malik Neighbors got injured, but Jackson started with a touchdown, not turning the ball over, rushing for 54 yards and a touchdown. They look really good. And they're going to need Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton to step up. It'd be like that to step up in order for them to win games. So we'll see what they do from them. But look, I'm about to say it was a good game for them. They got the Saints next and see if they can do everything that. And then the last game that I want to talk right here. I know I always talk about them each week and I trash, but I know last week they got BTA, but literally, the Bengals literally got smoked and got hit with that. I said the Bengals got smoked and got hit with that. I don't think you heard me. I said it one more time. I thought the Bengals got smoked and got hit with that. I tease. Bro, the Bengals, they lost so bad. My mom, who was a diehard Bengals fan for 37 years when she was 12, they lost both games so bad that she crashed out and they broke her so much that she's no longer a Bengals fan. Like that, do you know how bad that is? The Bengals, I don't know. It's over. And it's not even going to use it. The Lions, they got the Lions and then the Packers after that. I mean, what do you even say? They can't offensively. Jake Browning is in it. Chase Brown, he can't do anything. They can't improve their defense. They just got Trey Henderson. They only got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. But between both of them combined, they had 8 catches for 55 yards. Between the both of them, that's a combined. That's a regular game for a second starter. They can't do anything. Broncos just basically handle business. And the Bengals, if you get blown out again, you're just going to have to just rebuild and just tank the whole season. And I don't know, they're just going to have to just restart, and it's over for the Bengals. I don't know. Defense is not good. Offensive line is not good. Running game is not good. Just the passing, I'm going to say just Jamar Chase, C. Higgins is good. Jake Browner, he can't do it. The Cincinnati Bengals had 9 first downs and 11 penalties. What? Where do you see that at? 9 first down, 11 penalties. I've never seen a team get flagged as much as they did. 11 penalties, 9. That's rough. The Bengals had 159 total yards. The Broncos had 512 yards. They are absolutely cooked, and man, they were so bad. Me and my mom crushed out. Stop being a Bengals fan, and they're cooked. Bengals fans, it's over. You guys are cooked. I don't even have to say much about this game. Broncos handled their business. Bengals didn't. And so, yeah, that's about all reactions to the games. And so, for these upcoming games, I want to go and say gives my predictions. Rams 49ers. Got the Rams coming out on that one. You know, both the Rams are 3-1. I got the Rams. They're looking like one of the best teams in the NFL and dominating this season. So give me the Rams. Cowboys Jets. I'm kind of rooting for the Jets so I can just see Jerry Jones look depressed and upset. So I'm just pick the Jets and win this week. Seahawks don't got a game. We got bye week. And then the Eagles and the Broncos. I got the Eagles being the Broncos, even though the Broncos had good victory dominating against the Bengals. Eagles offensively, defensively, even though they've been having some drama and been having some trouble, I think the Eagles are just a really good team, better than the Broncos at this point. Texans, Ravens. Now, this will be really interesting. Depending on how Lamar Jackson looks, even with him in, this will be a really interesting game. The Texans came off just being the Titans 26-0. I mean, it is the Titans, but CJ's the offense looked really good. The defense they have one of the best defenses in the league. And that'll be a really interesting game to look at. I still pick the Ravens, though, to win. Next game, the Buccaneers and Seahawks. Give me the Buccaneers just because they've been really consistent these past few games. And Baker Mayfield, you know, when he was at the Browns, I used to think he was overrated, not that good. Ever since he went to the Buccaneers, I take back my words, and he's a top 15, maybe even a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Got the Buccaneers win that. Commanders, Chargers. Give me the Chargers. Chargers to win this game. And then Chiefs, Jaguars, last game I want to talk about. Got the Chiefs win just because I feel like they're going to continue their momentum and continue the season. So that's about it for the show. We're going to finish off today with a dad joke of the day. So it goes in like this. So recently, I moved into an igloo. And so my friends decided to throw me a housewarming party. Now I'm homeless. This is the Vibin with JJ show, and have a good day.